Hello! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Our tragic crime story for today is for sure close to the hearts of 2000s wrestling fans. I remember seeing this case in the news and being in shock upon knowing that this wrestler we once idolized did that to his family. This is the Chris Benoit double murder and suicide case, and without further ado, let's start. A quick disclaimer, this video is not meant to offend anyone, especially the families of the victims, and is done for educational purposes only. All of the information in this video was found from the internet, and you can also find it when you do your own research. Christopher Michael Benoit was born on May 21, 1967 in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. As a kid, he idolized Tom Billington, also known as the Dynamite Kid, and Bret Hart, and had his first taste at wrestling at a local event when he was about 12 years old. He started training at the Hart Family Dungeon and received training from the patriarch Stuart Hart himself. I'm not going into details as far as his wrestling career goes because he had a long career spanning more than 20 years, but I'll just run through some of his career highlights. He started with Stampede Wrestling and was recognized as having the style of Dynamite Kid, with Chris adopting a lot of his technical moves. He won his first major wrestling championship in New Japan Pro Wrestling in August 1990 when he defeated Jushin Thunder Liger for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. He also had stints working for the World Championship Wrestling and Extreme Championship Wrestling. He was given the moniker The Crippler after he put Rocco Rock out in a match. Benoit also accidentally broke the neck of fellow wrestler Sabu in an ECW November to Remember match in 1994. And after the match, he was actually scared that he might have accidentally paralyzed someone. ECW head booker Paul Heyman had the idea to continue using the moniker The Crippler to describe Benoit, and he was known as the Canadian Crippler Chris Benoit when he moved back to WCW in 1995. Chris Benoit made his debut in the then WWF as part of the Radicals alongside Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko. He won his first WWF Championship when he defeated both Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle in a triple threat match in WrestleMania 2000 for the Intercontinental Championship. During his stint with WWF, that would then become WWE, he won a total of 12 championships, including the World Heavyweight Championship, WWE Tag Team Championship, WWE United States Championship, of course, the Intercontinental Championship, and the World Tag Team Championship. Chris would meet his wife Nancy during his stint with WCW, where Nancy was working as a professional valet using the name Woman. At the time, Nancy is still married to her real-life husband and former wrestler Kevin Sullivan. Benoit would be involved in an on-screen feud with Sullivan and a storyline wherein Woman cheats on Sullivan with Benoit. But the on-screen relationship between Nancy and Chris Benoit would become real, and Nancy would eventually divorce Kevin Sullivan in 1997. Nancy gave birth to her son with Chris, Daniel Christopher Benoit, on February 25, 2000. And months after, on November 23, 2000, he would marry Chris Benoit. However, in May 2003, Nancy would file for divorce alleging cruel treatment. But then she would later on drop this lawsuit, as well as a restraining order filed against Chris Benoit in August 2003. On Friday, June 22, 2007, Chris Benoit killed Nancy in the bedroom in their house in Fayetteville, Georgia. Her body was found wrapped in a towel with both of her hands and feet bound, and also a Bible was left near her body. Injuries found in her body showed that she died of strangulation from a cord while Chris's knee was on her back. The toxicology report found therapeutic levels of hydrocodone and alprazolam in her body, as well as alcohol. Although toxicologists cannot confirm if the alcohol found was due to the decomposition of the body or if she had taken some before her death. The next day, June 23, 2007, Chris killed his son with Nancy, Daniel, who was 7 years old at the time. The reports confirmed that Daniel was sedated with Xanax and was likely unconscious before he was suffocated to death. And just like his mother, a Bible was also placed near his body. Then on the night of June 24, the following day, Chris Benoit committed suicide by using his lat pull-down machine to hang himself. On June 23, the day before Chris's death and the day of Daniel's murder, fellow wrestler and close friend Chavo Guerrero received a voicemail from Chris saying he will be late for a house show in Beaumont, Texas because Nancy and Daniel became sick from food poisoning. At 3:44 p.m., Chavo was able to talk to Chris on the phone, who said he was very stressed because of the food poisoning, with Chris ending the conversation by saying, "Chavo, I love you." On Chris Jericho's Talk is Jericho podcast, Chavo revealed Chris Benoit sounded off when he talked to him. The next day, June 24, Chris called the WWE Talent Relations Office, saying he will be taking a later flight to Houston, Texas for his match against CM Punk at the ECW World Championship Vengeance Night of Champions, but of course he will be unable to attend this event. Now there are many speculations about Chris Benoit's motive or reason for the murder-suicide, but so far, none has been official or conclusive. In February 2008, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported that Nancy may have suspected that Chris Benoit was having an affair with a WWE diva, and that they may have fought over life insurance policy, as reported by the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. Another speculation came from wrestler Christopher Nowinski, who said untreated and repeated concussions all throughout Chris Benoit's wrestling career may have contributed to his unstable mental state. West Virginia University head of neurosurgery Julian Bales conducted tests on Chris Benoit's brain and found that it was severely damaged and that it resembled the brain of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient. Now, Bales and his team were also the same team who conducted tests on the brain of NFL players Andre Waters and Terry Long, who also died by committing suicide. Tests revealed Benoit also had severe chronic traumatic encephalopathy, also known as the punch-drunk syndrome, which is very common in professional boxers. Another speculation is that the case is not a murder-suicide, but Chris Benoit was actually murdered alongside Nancy and Daniel, and the perpetrator was Nancy's ex-husband, Kevin Sullivan. But police have already cleared him of any suspicion. It was also alleged that Daniel, the son, had Fragile X syndrome, and this was causing problems in the family. But Nancy's sister, Sandra Tofoloni, clarified in a Talk as Jericho podcast episode that Daniel did not have Fragile X syndrome. And she also rejected the claims that there were needle track marks found on Daniel's arm. She also revealed in the podcast that Chris Benoit's search history showed him researching about the quickest and easiest way to break a neck. Steroids were also found in Chris Benoit's home, which led media companies to theorize that the murder may have actually been caused by a steroid-induced rage. On the night of June 25, the day of the discovery of the bodies, WWE and Vince McMahon canceled the Monday Raw event at the American Bank Center in Corpus Christi, Texas, and instead replaced the show with a tribute of Chris Benoit's life and career. However, upon learning the details of Chris's and his family's deaths, WWE disassociated itself from Benoit, removing all mentions of him from the WWE website, aside from a few press releases and listings in the WWE title history. WWE took many steps to disassociate itself from Benoit, and I'm not going to enumerate each one of them, but some of the most notable are the renaming of his signature moves, such as the Crippler Crossface in the WWE games, not including his matches on WWE DVD releases, and adding a parental advisory warning to any program that will feature him in the WWE network. My personal opinion, I think it's understandable for WWE to do such a move. I mean, whatever his reason or motive may be, I don't think it's right and appropriate to promote someone who has done such a heinous crime. And that is all I have for this case. There are still plenty of details about this case that I have not included in this video because it will take so long. Let me know what you think about our story for today. For some reason, this reminds me of the Aaron Hernandez case, and I believe there's a Netflix documentary about it, but I haven't watched it yet. It also looked at brain damage as one of the possible motives for the murders. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you have case suggestions, please feel free to DM me here on YouTube or on my Facebook account. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Stay safe!